Welcome to this channel on magnetic energy, technology, applications, principles. This video is about magnetic energy and water. And let's just be clear that with magnetic energy technology, you could provide the entire world with clean water, an unlimited amount of clean water at a fraction of the cost of current technology. So let's just get that out of the way. That's partly why is this technology important and what could it actually do for humanity? Well, that's the start. So moving beyond that, if you look at the magnetic water purifier in the site, you'll notice that the water is flowing through a copper vortex tube, and the tube is spinning at about 1700 RPMs inside of an array of magnets that help produce a relatively neutral field around that spinning water. So we're changing the structure of that water, and we're changing the etheric flow rate in those water molecules so that we can separate the water from the other elements that are bonding or blended with the water. And that's a very fast and efficient way to purify water using those magnetic fields. And it goes beyond that because it makes the water imprintable or programmable. So imagine you have water molecules and then you have other stuff that's in that water. The water molecules themselves, they have an etheric template connection. They have a strong connection and a strong bond between them. So when we expose the entire mix to a neutral pulsing magnetic field, what it does is it allows a separation to take place between everything else but the water. And then when we combine a magnetic circuit and we use that water to complete that circuit, we create an attract field that attracts everything other than the water to another source, to the metal in the water purifier. And what that does is it allows a separation to take place. The reason the water becomes more programmable in that state is because the bonds, if you look at like water molecules and then you take like a group of water, the bonds that are connecting between those water molecules will start to form geometric structures in them, and they'll have a highly energized etheric flow happening in them that is relatively neutral. That neutral energy can then take on a polarized, what we would call a polarization, and that polarization could be any type of imprinting or programming into that water. And that could be, for example, in agriculture, you could say program that water to be highly resistant to fungus or to certain pests. So once you have water that's programmable, you could put thoughts and feelings and energy into that with magnetic technology and an increased level of conscious awareness among people that we hope will be happening over the next few years. That process will allow people to put their intention and their feelings and their programming, their imprinting into water. So combined with the magnetic technology and an increasing consciousness, water becomes highly programmable. And when you think about the implications of that in terms of enlightenment around the planet and the ability to give water healing power and transforming the planet, transforming the oceans, the rivers, lakes, and groundwater, the ability to clean those and reoxygenate, revitalize those, and add life-giving energy and properties to all those bodies of water around the world. That's an awesome accomplishment that humanity will be able to engage in. So there's something that I have to touch on that's really critical to this process, because this is a low level nuclear reaction that is room temperature. So it's totally safe, and any radiation that results from it is actually a beneficial radiation, but even that dissipates within minutes. So anytime that you are trying to create a low temperature, like a room temperature nuclear reaction of some sort, whether it's fusion or fission, and you're using these pulsing magnetic fields, the critical part of this is the disruption of the gravity circuit. And the magnetic fields, the pulsing neutral magnetic fields, will disrupt the gravity circuit to some degree. And that'll allow for the separation to take place. And the reason that is because when we are inside of a gravity circuit like we are on the planet, there's a certain signature to that gravity circuit, and there's a pulse rate in that gravity circuit, and every molecule that exists in that circuit is influenced by that circuit. So there's a blending of energy. Molecular structures have an inflow and outflow of energy, and the gravity circuit becomes part of that inflow and outflow process, and that varies with every type of molecule. So some molecules will have a very intense gravity circuit contribution to their etheric flow, and others will have it to a lesser degree. And so once you interrupt that circuit, it allows you to separate molecular structures very easily. So that's the number one thing that has to be done. Once that is accomplished, then you can target various molecular structures with your magnetic pulsing. And so this the water purifier, the magnetic energy water purifier, it can be extrapolated from, it's a gateway technology. And once the principles are realized in that, it will become apparent that you can regulate pulse rates, and you can target certain frequencies or certain pulse rates in molecules and separate those quite easily once you have interrupted the gravity circuit. You don't have to completely cancel gravity or alleviate gravity 100%. You just have to interrupt the circuit enough so that it doesn't contribute to the etheric flow between the molecules, and then they become very easy to separate with pulsing magnetic fields. So the magnetic energy technology combined with water takes it to a next level. We are barely scratching the surface for what water is really capable of. And with the proper fields, you can attract water, repel water, you can program water, you can use water in a whole new dimension of technology and with consciousness. And it's really important that people begin to embrace our connection with water and how our thoughts and our intentions can interact with water, especially with elevated consciousness. And with the proper technology, water becomes one of the greatest tools we have at our disposal for transforming the planet and helping life on the planet, growing crops that are much more robust and much more full of etheric energy. They're healthier, they're more nutritious, and that's just the tip of the iceberg when we get into working closely with water and what water can actually do for us physically and our etheric bodies and the exchange rate with our bodies. It will definitely blow people's minds, and it'll be an amazing thing that we experience. So let's just think about water and think about your intentions even now in your life. The water you drink, put good intentions to it, send positive energy into it, surround that water with vortexes of light, imagine high vibration of energy in that water, and begin to interact with water as much as you possibly can. And as this technology comes online, that ability, that tapping into that energy will be magnified greatly. And so we'll leave it right there, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.